The forest was dark and quiet, only the sound of leaves moving in the night air. Two human soldiers walked slowly between the tall trees, their boots pressing against the wet ground. They were searching for something strange, something that had fallen from the sky. An hour ago, a bright light had cut through the clouds and crashed in this forest. The humans thought it was just another satellite, maybe a piece of space junk, but they were wrong. In the middle of the trees, smoke rose from a small silver pod. Its surface was cracked, and strange glowing symbols ran across its metal skin. The soldiers aimed their flashlights at it, their voices low. "What is that thing?" one whispered. "It doesn't look human tech," the other replied. They stepped closer, careful, nervous, and then they heard it. A soft whimper, like the cry of a child. The sound froze them. Children should not be here, not in a forest, not in the middle of the night. The two men exchanged looks, and one of them slowly opened the pod's door. Inside, huddled in a corner, was a tiny figure. She was small, no taller than a young child, her skin pale with a soft glow. Her big round eyes shimmered with fear, reflecting the flashlight beams. Her long silver hair fell over her face, and her hands clutched her knees tightly. She looked fragile, like she could break if touched. The soldiers gasped. It was not a human child. It was something else, something alien. The small girl stared at them, trembling. Her lips moved, whispering words in a language they did not know. To her, the humans looked like giants, tall, broad, and terrifying. She had heard stories of humans, stories told in fear back on her world. They are hunters, her people had said. They capture and use other species. They breed them like animals. Now, as she saw the humans towering over her, those stories filled her mind. Her tiny body shook, and her wide eyes filled with tears. The first soldier lowered his weapon and tried to speak gently. "Hey, it's okay. We're not going to hurt you." But his deep voice sounded harsh to her ears. The second soldier took a step forward, holding out a small packet of water. The alien girl panicked. In her mind, she thought, "They're offering me a trap. They want to feed me, so I grow strong. Then they will use me." Her heart raced, and she pressed herself tighter against the corner of the pod. Her whispers grew louder, desperate. "They want to breed me. They want to use me," she said in her own tongue. The soldiers couldn't understand, but they saw her terror. One of them shook his head. "She's scared out of her mind." The other nodded. "We need to call the base." But the girl thought their quiet discussion was a plan. She believed they were deciding what to do with her. Her fear turned into pure panic. She scrambled out of the pod, stumbling on weak legs. Her glowing hair caught the soldier's eyes as she ran into the dark trees. "Wait, stop!" one of them shouted, but she didn't stop. Her small figure vanished into the shadows, her breathing fast and shallow. The forest was alive with sounds. The rustle of leaves, the call of night animals, the crunch of twigs under her tiny feet. She didn't know this world, but she knew one thing. She had to run. Her people had warned her, never let the humans catch you. She imagined cages, chains, experiments, and endless breeding. Her fear fed her legs with strength, even as her body ached from the crash. Behind her, the humans chased, their flashlights cutting through the dark. They weren't shouting in anger, but she didn't understand. She only heard loud voices and heavy footsteps. To her, every sound was a hunter closing in. Branches scratched her skin and stones cut her bare feet. But she didn't care. She would rather die in the wild than let humans take her. Tears streamed down her face, sparkling in the moonlight. She whispered to herself again and again, "They want to breed me. They want to breed me." Far behind, the soldiers stopped. "She's too fast. We'll lose her," one said, breathing hard. The other pressed a button on his radio. "Command, this is Unit 7. We've found something small, humanoid, possibly alien. It escaped into the forest requesting instructions." The radio crackled with static before a voice replied, "Do not lose it. Secure the subject at all costs." The soldiers pushed forward again, their lights sweeping across the trees. But the alien girl was already gone, hidden in the darkness, heart pounding, terrified of what humans would do if they found her. She thought she had escaped their trap. But deep down, she knew the hunt had only begun. The forest wrapped around her like a dark prison. The tiny alien girl crouched under a fallen tree, her small chest rising and falling with sharp breaths. Her body was weak from the crash, but fear gave her strength. Every sound made her flinch: the hoot of an owl, the crack of a branch, the whisper of wind. She hugged her knees and whispered, "They will find me. They will use me." Behind the trees, beams of light cut through the night. The human soldiers were still searching, their voices carried by the wind. "Fan out, she can't be far," one said. To the alien girl, those words sounded like hunters talking about prey. Her people had always told her, humans never stop once they want something. She believed it now. She remembered her home, far away among the stars. Her people were small, fragile, and always careful. They had seen other species fall into human hands. Her elders had whispered warnings. Humans breed what they capture. They mix blood. They make slaves. Those stories echoed in her mind as she shivered in the shadows. She thought, if they take me, I will never see my world again. One of the soldiers moved closer, his flashlight sweeping over roots and bushes. The bright beam landed just inches from where she hid. Her heart stopped. Her hands pressed against her mouth to silence her breath. The man paused, then stepped away. The light faded, leaving her in darkness again. Relief rushed over her, but it didn't last. She knew they would not give up. A sharp pain ran through her legs, scraped and cut from running barefoot. Her glowing hair clung to her face, wet with sweat and tears. She forced herself to move deeper into the forest. Every step was heavy, but stopping meant capture. The ground was cold, the air filled with strange smells. She had never been on such a wild and dangerous world. Behind her, she heard one of the humans speak. "Poor thing, she's terrified." But to her ears, the tone was cold, a hunter showing pity for the catch. Another soldier answered, "Orders are clear. We have to bring her in." The words struck her heart like a blade. Bring her in, she thought. Yes, bring me into cages, to labs, to breeding. Her fear grew even sharper. She slipped between rocks and thorn bushes, trying to vanish. Her small hands bled, but she didn't stop. She thought of her family, her mother's soft voice, her father's careful smile. They had begged her never to approach humans. Now she realized why. Tears rolled down her glowing cheeks as she whispered, "I should have listened. I should have stayed away." Suddenly, she heard a howl. The sound was low, long, and full of hunger. Her small body froze. She had escaped humans, but now the forest itself was alive with danger. Two shining eyes appeared in the dark, moving closer. The alien girl gasped and stumbled backward. It was not human, but it wanted her too. Her legs shook as she turned and ran, branches slashing her arms. She didn't care about pain. She only cared about surviving. Behind her, the beast followed, snapping branches under its heavy paws. Her small feet barely touched the ground as she raced forward. She prayed the humans would not find her. But now, she also prayed the beast would not catch her. Fear twisted inside her like fire. She thought, this world will kill me, if not humans, then something else. The soldiers heard the howl too. One raised his weapon. "Something else is out here." The other shouted, "Keep searching. We can't lose her to an animal." Their voices carried through the forest, closer and closer. But the alien girl only heard danger. To her, humans and beasts were the same, hunters of the weak. Her steps slowed, her body trembling with exhaustion. She collapsed near a stream, the cold water splashing against her hands. She drank quickly, her throat burning with thirst. The water gave her little strength, but it wasn't enough. She pressed her forehead to the wet earth and whispered, I can't escape forever." The forest around her grew silent, too silent. The beast's eyes glowed from the shadows, watching, waiting, and behind it, beams of human light swept across the dark. She was trapped between two dangers. Humans on one side, the beast on the other. Her heart pounded like a drum in her tiny chest. She thought, "This is the end. They will take me, or it will eat me." The soldiers shouted again, their lights flashing closer. The beast growled, lowering its head. The alien girl whimpered, curling smaller against the ground. Fear filled her eyes, fear that humans would catch her, fear that the beast would tear her apart. She didn't know which fate was worse. In that moment, her terror grew beyond words. The forest, the humans, the beast, everything wanted her. She was only a small, lost child from another world, but she felt like prey in every corner of this strange land. Her whispers shook with despair. "They want me, they all want me." The night carried her cries into the trees, and the humans, still searching, had no idea how much her fear twisted the truth inside her mind. For them, she was a discovery, a fragile being to protect. But for her, they were monsters waiting to capture her soul. And so, her fear grew deeper, darker, and far more dangerous. The soldiers finally slowed down, their flashlights moving in wide circles through the trees. The forest was thick, and the tiny alien girl had vanished deeper inside. They could still hear distant rustles, but they could not tell if it was her or the animals watching from the dark. One soldier pressed his radio. "Command, subject is small, fast, and frightened. She's avoiding us. Orders?" The voice that came back was calm but firm. "Bring her in, no harm, we must study her." Those last words made the alien girl freeze where she hid. She had sharp ears, and though she did not understand every human word, she caught one: study. Her heart sank. On her world, to study something often meant to cut it open, to take it apart, to use it. She imagined cold tables, sharp knives, strange machines. She trembled harder, whispering, "Study me. No, they will break me. They will breed me." The humans didn't know the storm inside her mind. They thought she was only afraid because she was lost. In truth, she believed they were hunters wearing kind masks. When one soldier placed food on a rock and stepped back, she stared at it with wide eyes. It was bread, wrapped in clear plastic. Her stomach twisted with hunger, but her mind screamed, "Bait, bait, bait." She backed away into the shadows, shaking her head. The soldiers sighed. "She doesn't trust us," one muttered. "Would you?" the other replied. "Look at her. She's small. She doesn't even know what we're saying." Still, their curiosity burned brighter than their frustration. They had never seen anything like her. Her glowing hair, her luminous skin, her huge eyes that looked too wise for her size. She seemed delicate, like something out of a dream. "Imagine what the scientists will say when they see her," one whispered. "She's proof," the other said. Proof we're not alone. But to the alien girl, their words were heavy chains. She thought, "Scientists, they will test me, use me, make me into their breeding experiment." She shook her head again, covering her ears, trying to block out the sounds. Her fear twisted every human gesture, every human word, into something darker. Later, a female scientist arrived at the forest edge with a small team. She carried strange, glowing instruments, clicking and humming with energy. The alien girl's eyes widened. She had seen tools like these before, back on her world, used on animals. The humans pointed the device at her hiding place, and it beeped. She gasped, thinking it was a weapon. Her small body pressed deeper into the ground, heart pounding. "They are tracking me," she whispered. "They want me like an animal." The scientist's voice was calm. "She's alive, healthy. Her energy levels are strange, though, very high." The alien girl only heard fragments, enough to terrify her. Energy levels strange. She thought they were measuring her like cattle. She thought soon they would decide if she was useful, if she was ready for breeding. The soldiers stepped closer, their shadows long in the moonlight. The girl darted out from behind the bush, trying to escape again. The humans shouted, chasing. But she was too quick, sliding under a log and sprinting down a slope. Her glowing hair streamed behind her like a trail of silver light. The humans followed, not with anger, but with amazement. One soldier whispered, "She's beautiful." The girl heard the word, but twisted it in her mind. Beautiful prey, she thought, beautiful animal to use. She ran until she reached an open field where the stars glowed bright above. She looked up, her eyes filling with tears. Her home was somewhere out there, shining, far, far away. She wanted to scream, but no sound came out. Instead, she whispered, "They will never let me go home, never." The humans stopped at the edge of the field, breathing heavily. They didn't rush her now. The female scientist raised her hand slowly, not to grab, but to show peace. "We don't want to harm you," she said softly, though the alien girl couldn't understand the words. But tone mattered. The scientist's voice was gentle, almost like a mother speaking to a child. The alien girl tilted her head, confused. She didn't run, not yet. For one fragile moment, the tension broke. The humans saw her not as a subject, not as an alien, but as a lost little girl. And she saw them not as monsters, but as tall, strange beings who seemed to care. But the moment did not last. The sound of a helicopter roared overhead, blades slicing the air. The girl gasped, covering her ears, her fear exploding again. To her, the machine was proof. The humans had sent more hunters, bigger hunters. She bolted back into the forest, vanishing once more. The humans cursed. The scientist sighed. "She thinks we're enemies." One soldier nodded. "We might never earn her trust." But their curiosity only grew. They didn't want to hurt her. They didn't want to lose her. And she was certain they wanted everything she feared. So the chase continued, deeper into the night. The night grew colder, the forest deeper. The tiny alien girl crouched low, her glowing hair tangled with leaves and dirt. Her small chest rose and fell, her breath sharp and fast. She had escaped the open field, escaped the flashing lights and the human voices. But she knew she was still hunted. The forest was no longer a place to hide. It was a cage that grew tighter around her. Behind her, the distant rumble of the helicopter filled the air. Its lights swept over the treetops like a giant searching eye. The humans were closing in from every side. They didn't want to kill her, but she didn't know that. To her, every step they took meant chains and cages. She thought, "If I don't escape tonight, I will never be free again." Her small hands gripped the roots of an old tree as she pulled herself up a slope. Her body ached, but fear burned hotter than pain. She climbed higher until she reached a ridge. From here, the forest opened into a valley below. A dark river cut through the land, its waters moving fast. The alien girl stared at it, trembling. If she could cross the river, maybe the humans would stop. Maybe the water would break their trail. But she was weak, and the current looked wild. The sound of footsteps snapped her thoughts. She spun around and saw lights moving closer. Soldiers spreading out, searching with careful steps. Her heart pounded like a drum. She whispered, "No, they will take me. They will use me." Without thinking, she bolted down the slope. Her bare feet slipped on the wet grass, but she didn't stop. Branches tore at her arms. Rocks bruised her legs. She ran faster, faster, as the soldier shouted behind her. "There! She's moving downhill. Don't lose her." The alien girl's small frame moved like lightning. Fear gave her speed no human could match. Her glowing hair flashed between the trees. The soldiers followed, tripping, sliding, cursing. Their heavy gear slowed them, but their voices grew louder. They were closing in. At the river's edge, she stopped, gasping for air. The water roared, angry and strong. She looked back. The soldiers were already on the slope above. Their flashlights cut through the night, pinning her in their beams. For one moment, she froze, trapped between river and hunters. Then she chose the river. She leapt forward, her small body plunging into the cold water. The current pulled her under, spinning her like a leaf. She fought, her arms flailing, her mouth gasping for air. Her glowing hair spread across the water like silver fire. The soldiers shouted, panicked, "She's in the river, she'll drown." But to her ears, their voices sounded like victory cries. "Yes, let her fall. Let her break, then take what is left. She struggled harder, pushing against the water. Her body was weak, but her spirit refused to give in. The river carried her far from the lights, far from the shouting men. She slammed against rocks, her skin bruised and bleeding. She clawed her way toward the bank, coughing water from her tiny lungs. Finally, with a last desperate push, she dragged herself onto the muddy shore. Her body shivered, her legs barely able to stand. But she was alive. She had escaped again. The forest here was different, thicker, darker. Strange glowing insects floated in the air, their lights soft and green. The alien girl stared at them with wide eyes. For the first time since her crash, she felt a flicker of wonder. Her world had creatures like this too, small and beautiful. But the moment was short. Behind her, the helicopter turned, its lights searching the valley. The chase had not ended, only shifted. She stumbled forward, deeper into the woods. Every step was heavy, her breath shallow. But she whispered to herself, "I will not be theirs, I will not be their animal." Her whispers grew into a chant, a rhythm that kept her moving. They will not touch me. They will not breed me. Far behind, the soldiers reached the riverbank. They shined their lights into the rushing water. One of them cursed she crossed. Another pressed his radio. Command, subject entered the river, possible location on the far bank, requesting drones. The female scientist frowned, her voice tight. She is terrified. If we push harder, she'll never trust us. But orders were orders. The hunt pressed on. Meanwhile, the alien girl collapsed under the roots of a massive tree. Her body curled into a ball, her glowing hair hiding her face. She was too tired to run, too tired to cry. Her small chest rose and fell in shallow breaths. Sleep pulled at her eyes, but fear fought to keep her awake. She whispered one last thought before darkness took her. If they find me, I will fight even if I break. And in the shadows, something else moved. Two glowing eyes blinked from the dark, watching her. Not human, not friendly. The forest had more hunters than she imagined, and her escape attempt had only led her deeper into danger. The forest was silent, too silent. The tiny alien girl lay under the roots of a massive tree, her body shaking from cold and exhaustion. Her glowing hair clung to her damp face, her small hands curled into fists. She thought she had escaped the humans by crossing the river, but she had only traded one danger for another. Two glowing eyes blinked from the shadows, watching, waiting. The girl stirred, sensing something near. Her eyes snapped open, wide with fear. At first, she thought it was another soldier's flashlight, but then she heard the low growl, deep and hungry. Not human, not machine, an animal. Slowly, she sat up, her breath shallow. A dark shape moved between the trees, its massive body covered in thick fur. It stepped closer, and the light of the moon revealed sharp teeth glinting in its jaws. Her heart froze. On her world, she had seen predators, but nothing like this. This beast was huge, strong, and filled with hunger. She whispered to herself, "It will eat me. It will tear me apart." The creature crept closer, sniffing the air, drawn to her strange scent. Her glowing hair and pale skin made her easy to see in the dark. She pressed herself back against the tree, wishing she could disappear. Her body trembled as the beast growled again. The sound echoed through the forest like thunder. Her mind raced. If I run, it will chase. If I stay, it will strike. She had no weapon, no strength, only fear. Her people were not warriors. They were thinkers, dreamers, wanderers. She had never fought for her life before, but now she had no choice. The beast lunged forward, its jaws snapping. The girl screamed and darted sideways, her small body moving fast. She stumbled, fell, and rolled across the dirt, her hands scraped and bleeding. The beast snarled, slashing at the ground where she had been a second ago. Her glowing hair whipped around her as she scrambled to her feet. She ran, her tiny legs pumping with desperate energy. Branches whipped her face, Rocks cut her feet. The beast chased close behind, its heavy paws shaking the ground. She gasped for air, tears streaming from her eyes. She thought, the humans will not take me, but this monster will. Then, in the distance, came another sound, shouts, footsteps. The humans. Their flashlights flickered between the trees, their weapons raised. The alien girl froze for a heartbeat, trapped between two horrors. The beast growled behind her. The humans shouted ahead. Which was worse, the monster that wanted to eat her, or the giants who wanted to capture her? Her heart screamed both. The beast lunged again, but before its teeth could reach her, gunfire cracked through the night. The sound was deafening. The creature roared in pain, stumbling back as bullets struck. The soldiers shouted, their lights locking onto the beast. One yelled, "Keep firing, it's going for the girl." The alien girl dropped to the ground, covering her ears, her body shaking. The lights, the sounds, the weapons, it was too much. She thought, they are not saving me, they are killing me. The beast collapsed, snarling one last time before falling still. Smoke rose from the soldiers' rifles, their breaths heavy. One of them lowered his weapon and stepped toward her. "It's okay. You're safe now," he said. But his voice was a rumble of thunder to her ears. She didn't see saviors. She saw killers. Her eyes filled with terror as she crawled backward. "No, no. You kill me too. You use me too," she whispered in her own tongue. The soldiers exchanged worried looks. "She doesn't understand," one muttered. The scientist arrived a moment later, her face pale from running. She looked at the girl with soft eyes. "She thinks we're her enemies," she whispered. "Look at her. She's terrified." The alien girl pressed her back against the tree, her small body trembling. The beast lay dead only a few feet away, but she didn't look at it. She only saw the humans, their weapons, their shadows. Her mind twisted the truth again. They kill the monster, yes, but only because they want me alive, they want me whole, they want to use me. One soldier tried again, placing his rifle on the ground and raising his hands. "See? No weapon. We're not going to hurt you." But the alien girl only shook her head violently. To her, the weapon was still there, even if it lay on the dirt. She whispered, "Tricks, lies, they wait until I trust." The scientist stepped forward carefully, holding out nothing but her open palm. Her voice was gentle. "Please, we don't want to harm you." For a second, the girl hesitated, her eyes flicking to the woman's face. Something in the tone, something soft, reminded her of her mother. Her breathing slowed, her fear bent but did not break. And then the roar of the helicopter filled the night again. The girl flinched, her brief trust shattered like glass. She bolted once more into the forest, her small figure swallowed by shadows. The soldiers cursed, chasing after her. The scientist whispered, "We keep saving her, but to her, we're only monsters." And deeper in the woods, the alien girl whispered through her sobs, "They saved me, but only to keep me, only to use me." The dangerous world had not killed her, but her fears still did, growing larger with every breath. The night grew quiet again, but the tiny alien girl did not feel safe. Her legs trembled as she stumbled deeper into the forest. Her glowing hair was tangled, her face streaked with dirt and tears. She had escaped monsters, escaped rivers, escaped bullets, but she could not escape her own fear. Her heart still whispered, "They want me, they will use me." She collapsed near a circle of stones, where the earth was soft. Her small chest rose and fell in painful gasps. The forest was alive with strange lights, glowing insects dancing in the dark. For a moment, she stared at them, her wide eyes reflecting their soft colors. They were beautiful, gentle, and harmless. Unlike the giants who hunted her, unlike the beasts who wanted her flesh. But her moment of peace ended quickly. The humans were clever, and they had followed. She heard quiet footsteps, slower now, not chasing but approaching carefully. Her head shot up, her body tense. Through the trees, a faint glow of flashlights shimmered. She pressed her back against a rock, whispering, "No, no more." Then a voice spoke, not harsh, not loud. It was the voice of the female scientist. "Please don't run," she said gently, her words soft like a song. The alien girl tilted her head, her big eyes unblinking. She could not understand the language, but tone was something universal. For the first time, the sound did not feel like thunder. It felt like rain, quiet and soft. The scientist knelt down, lowering herself to appear smaller. She placed her flashlight on the ground, so its glow was not blinding. She held up her empty hands, showing she carried no weapons. The alien girl blinked, confused. Her people had told her humans were only hunters. But this one knelt low, almost humble. Why would a hunter kneel? The scientist slowly drew something from her pocket. Not a weapon, but a notebook. She flipped it open, pulled out a pen, and began to draw. The alien girl's eyes narrowed, watching closely. Her small body trembled, ready to bolt at the first sign of danger. But what she saw on the paper made her pause. A simple picture, drawn with shaky lines. It showed a small figure with glowing hair, standing alone under stars. Her. The girl gasped softly, her eyes wide. The scientist flipped to the next page and drew again. This time, two taller figures reached out their hands. No weapons, no cages, only open palms. She pushed the notebook forward carefully, letting the girl see. The alien girl pressed her hands to her chest, her heart racing. Her mind screamed trap, but her heart whispered maybe. She pointed to the drawing, then to herself. Her lips moved with a shaky voice. "Me?" The scientist nodded slowly, smiling gently. "Yes, you," she said, though the girl did not know the word. But she felt the meaning in the woman's eyes. For the first time, the alien girl did not run. Her small body remained pressed against the rock, but her gaze locked on the drawings. She whispered in her own tongue, Why would they show me kindness?" Her fear cracked for a moment, just a moment. She wanted to believe, she wanted to trust, but fear was stronger. Behind the scientist, a soldier shifted his weapon. The alien girl's eyes darted to the metal barrel. Her body froze, the fragile moment shattered. Her breath quickened again. No lies," she whispered, her voice breaking. The soldier raised his hands quickly. "Wait, I wasn't." But his words were useless. To her, the weapon meant chains, the weapon meant breeding. The scientist turned, snapping, "Put it down now." The soldier obeyed, lowering it to the dirt. But the damage was done. The alien girl scuttled back, her small body pressing deeper into the shadows. Her trust was fragile as glass, and in 1 second, it had cracked. Still, the drawings lay on the ground. The girl glanced at them again, her wide eyes softening. She wanted to believe the woman, but she whispered, "If I trust, they will take me. If I trust, I will never go home." Tears slid down her face as she stared between them and the humans. The scientist reached a little closer, her voice still calm. "We don't want to harm you," she said again. And though the alien girl could not understand the words, she felt something that almost made her step forward. Almost. Then, the forest shook with another noise, the distant rumble of trucks, more humans arriving. The alien girl gasped, her fragile hope vanishing like smoke. She scrambled to her feet, backing away. Her voice cracked as she cried, "More hunters, more chains." And she bolted once more into the darkness. The drawings fluttered in the dirt, forgotten. The scientist pressed her hand to her face, frustrated, heartbroken. "She's so close," she whispered, "so close to trusting us." The soldiers stood in silence, their eyes searching the dark trees. They wanted to capture, but she wanted to connect, and the alien girl wanted only to escape. The truth had touched her heart, but fear was still the stronger master. The night was nearly over, but the hunt had not ended. The tiny alien girl stood at the edge of the forest, her glowing hair shining faintly in the pale moonlight. She was trembling, her legs weak, her arms scraped and bleeding. Behind her, the forest stretched like a maze of shadows, full of beasts and dangers. Ahead of her, the humans waited, their lights glowing in the dark, their voices calm but firm. She was trapped between fear and hope. The female scientist stepped forward again, her voice soft. "Please," she said, though the girl could not understand the words. The alien girl's wide eyes flicked from the woman's empty hands to the soldier's weapons. Her chest rose and fell quickly, her breath sharp. She wanted to run, but there was nowhere left to go. She whispered to herself, "If I go back to the forest, I die. If I go to them, I lose myself." The human stayed still, careful not to startle her. They had learned by now that chasing only made her flee deeper. The scientist knelt down again, just like before, making herself small. She picked up the notebook from the dirt, its pages smudged with soil. She flipped to the drawing of the glowing-haired child under the stars. She pressed her hand to her chest, then pointed to the picture. The alien girl's eyes softened just for a moment. Her small lips moved. "Me," she whispered. Then she pointed to the taller figures with open hands. Her voice shook. "You?" The scientist's eyes filled with relief. She nodded slowly. "Yes, this," she whispered, though the girl did not know the word. But she felt it. She felt the meaning. The alien girl stepped closer, her tiny feet sinking into the damp earth. Her body trembled, her heart racing. She wanted to believe. She wanted to trust. For a moment, she imagined herself safe, wrapped in warmth, fed, and cared for. She imagined hands not as chains, but as comfort. She imagined a world where humans were not hunters, but friends. But then, her mind twisted again. Her elders' warnings filled her head. Humans take, humans use, humans breed what they capture. She froze, her eyes filling with tears. Her hope cracked like thin glass under pressure. She whispered, "If I take their hand, I will never see home again." The scientist reached out slowly, her hand open, not forcing, only waiting. The soldiers stayed behind, their weapons lowered, their breaths quiet. The whole forest seemed to pause, holding its breath. Even the river's roar sounded distant. The choice was hers alone. The alien girl stared at the hand, her body trembling. She thought of her family, her home, the stars above. She thought of the beast that nearly killed her, of the river that almost drowned her. She thought of how the humans saved her again and again, but also how they hunted her, chased her, cornered her. Her heart screamed both truths, both fears. Which one was real? Which one was a lie? Her small hand lifted, shaking. She reached forward, her fingers hovering just above the woman's palm. The scientist's eyes widened, her breath catching. The soldiers leaned in, silent. The alien girl's lips trembled as she whispered, "If you lie, I will escape again." Her hand touched the scientist's. For the first time, skin to skin, warmth spread through her, and for a heartbeat, she felt calm. The human's hand did not grip her, did not chain her. It only stayed still, gentle, waiting. The alien girl's wide eyes blinked, her breath slowing. She whispered, maybe not monster." Her heart wavered between fear and hope. But then, a crackle of radio static cut the moment, sharp and loud. A soldier lifted his communicator. "Command, we have contact." The alien girl's eyes widened, her fragile calm shattering. She yanked her hand back, stumbling away. Her voice broke. No trick." She turned to run, but paused, her body torn between flight and trust. The scientist reached out again, desperate. "Please don't go." Her voice was raw, heavy with emotion. The alien girl's chest rose and fell, her body frozen between two worlds. Behind her, the dark forest full of beasts and death. Ahead, the humans with their weapons and strange machines. Her heart beat like thunder, her choice sharp as a blade. She whispered to herself, "Forest kills me, humans chain me." Then, softer, almost a question, "Or maybe humans save me." Her eyes darted between the woman's hand and the shadows of the trees. The whole world narrowed to this single moment. Her future balanced on the edge. And then, the sound of engines roared in the distance. Trucks, more humans, more lights. her wide eyes filled with panic again. She took one step forward, one step back, her body shaking. Her lips moved with one last whisper. I must choose, but which is death and which is life? The screen of night held her frozen there, caught between fear and faith, and the choice remained unmade.